Hello, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is the first day of fall, September the 22nd, and the Esperanza is looking great. It did bloom for me this season, and it's a little bit more, seems to be blooming every day. I don't know for sure how long these blooms will last. Sometimes the annual blooms actually last longer than the perennial blooms do, but I'll have to see. I don't remember from the last time that it bloomed how long it was in bloom. But I'm totally, oh gosh, I started to say enjoying this beautiful weather. And there's, you know, everybody should be enjoying this wonderful, beautiful weather. But for some reason I have been extremely stressed, and I'm even stressing out my husband, having him help me do some things. As we roam around today, you'll probably see some of the things. He's trying to put my picnic table back up. Well, the chairs around it, the picnic table has been put up, but look at this pretty little plant blooming again. This is the blue butterfly plant. It's loving this fall weather too, enough to bloom again for me. I just got to get a little closer again on this pretty plant. It looks like a little blue butterfly. Look at the back of this little pot, how it's shining in bloom this morning. And this is the front side of that little pot. It's really looking good, and I'm proud of it, but I do wish that my coleus that are planted on the back of it would have gotten taller and thicker, and you could have seen them behind her little wings there more, but it's still very pretty. And the pampas grasses are bird approved. We've been watching the birds land on them and take the little canes down, and then they come back up because of course they're not heavy enough to keep them down very far, and then they eat the seed off of them. We haven't been able to set out long enough for them to really get used to us being there, so I can get you some good pictures, but I hope to be able to do that before they're finished with them. I did clean out some of the old dead stalks of bee balm or Monarda, and a little bit of my peonies. For some reason my peonies this year, the foliage got dark on them, so I think they have a disease. So I've read to go ahead and take that off in the late fall or the fall, so I just went ahead and took some of it off. Leave it a couple of inches or even 3 above it so that it protects the crown, and that it should be fine. So I'm hoping that that will help them to come out pretty and green and healthy next year. Look at this little Chinese dunce cap. This is what it does in the fall or in the late season. So to give credit where credit is due, I need to tell you that my husband actually washed the windows for me. And later on you'll hear me say that either I did or we did, but correctly he did for me. And also I had just told you that we didn't get pictures of the birds, but unbeknownst to me, he got me some this morning. And recently my Triboli passion flower bloomed for me. You'll have to look back if you haven't seen it. It's beautiful bloom. It looks like it has a fringe on it. And I may not be saying that name right, but it's a very beautiful bloom. These beautiful Magellan salmon pink zinnias just keep getting bigger and prettier. They haven't faded away or gotten brown. They're just looking so good. I love them. The Coleuses are looking great still. Most of them, a few of them have some little nips on them from the cooler nights. But most everything, including this pretty little salvia, silver sage salvia, is just looking so pretty, and they're all responding favorably to the cooler weather. Most of them are. Of course, that won't be the case when it gets a little cooler still, but for right now, it is great. It's so great. I'm wanting to enjoy it more, and I've just been so stressed that I can't seem to enjoy it, but I'm hoping to get out of that. That just happens to us sometimes, especially when we're older, it seems like. But the beauty of the garden is still beckoning us to just enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And if we don't, we'll just miss our opportunity, because it won't be here long. That's actually the sad part, and maybe even a little bit of my stress, because I know there's such a short time to both to enjoy it and to do all the things that have to be done. But there's a lot that needs to be done before we bring things in. I'll want to put some in different pots. Some, like this beautiful variegated hibiscus, will need to be clipped back before I bring it inside, because I don't have that much room to bring it in my home. And then so many things like this beautiful alternanthera, I'll want to take cuttings from and save those in a glass in the window. There's just so many things to do. It makes a person wonder if they're going to get it all done. So, and if we don't, you know, we'll just have to start fresh next year, which we'll be starting fresh either way. Some things will be fresh from the window and some will be fresh from the nurseries, but it'll be a whole new start, and it'll be wonderful. It truly will. It's just that, you know, I'm going to be ready for that rest, and every gardener is. Every gardener is going to be grateful for winter when it actually gets here. But truly, we want fall to be longer. We want to enjoy it longer, because we put in all that work, and now we just want to sit back and just enjoy it. Instead, we're still doing so much. But I do know that I do want to get it done. I do want to accomplish all that I can, to save all that I can for next year, and then also to just enjoy this year's. This is another little item that I'll need to take inside, this beautiful aloe vera. It's beautiful to me. It's the biggest I've ever grown it, and it's all because of the cactus soil. Just use cactus soil and it'll work for you. That's the way it did for me. And I don't know why I was allowed to grow this beautiful Nemesia this year. I've never been able to keep it very long without it just going away in the heat. But this year, for some reason, it hung on for me, and I'm so grateful. I hope to be able to grow it even more in the garden. My hostas are looking so ready, and I know some of this is damage from snails, so I've got to, even though I have found what will help, and that's that diatomaceous earth, and I've got to keep fighting those things, and so I can have these pretty hostas for years to come. My pretty container zinnias, or I call them container zinnias because that's where I use them. They're shorter version with still a pretty standard size bloom on them, and I do love them. They're all doing well right now still, just blooming away. This is a little house plant that I will need to take inside. This is a Schefflera plant that's doing great for me outside, and that will not be the case when I take it in my home. It just never does as well for me inside. It will start dropping off leaves and dying, but hopefully it will live long enough for me to bring it back out, where next spring it will begin replenishing itself all over again. I love this beautiful Colorsaurus coleus too. It's just so bright and beckoning you to look at it. This is the purple waffle plant. I'll take it inside, and you will not want to see what will happen to it. But if I can just make it live, keep it alive, when I bring it back out, it will look beautiful again. This is a little clipping of a well, I'm going to call it a polka dot plant. That's its common name. But I saved this in a glass in the window, just a little start, and it is just now beginning to look beautiful, and it's time for it to go inside. So we'll see if I can save that. If not, they're pretty readily found at nurseries. Oh, look at this terrible, that's probably a snail. It may be a grasshopper. I've got trouble with both of them, but I need to get that leaf off of there so the others can shine. There, that looks better already. And this is the beautiful Alabama Sunset Coleus, and it does fine here where there's a little bit of shade, and it does just as well even in the sun. I'm not sure the name of this little coleus, but it does really well for me too. It just keeps on going and spreading out. And then this is dipped in wine, which is another favorite for me, the bright pretty color. And this is a weed that hid from me all summer long. There, I got that little one out of there too. This is the beautiful salmon coral profusion zine. Ooh, that was a frog. Sorry about that. But this is the pretty profusion zinies in a pretty coral peach color. This is some of my favorites too. And this little zinnia here looks like it's just about spent. And so I will, actually I think right now I will go ahead and clip it off and bring it in and let it dry for seed for next year. So even though we're thinking about enjoying this last hurrah in the garden, when the weather is nice and the garden is responding to the beautiful weather, and we're responding to it too as much as we can, there's also next year's garden to think about and lots to do in the garden. I found that's a lot like housekeeping. It's never done because as soon as you finish one task, there's another waiting for you, and then you have to get back to the same one you just did because it's now not pretty anymore because it's all messed up from the task you did, like cooking or whatever we do in the kitchen or in the house. But it's always worth it, and it's always wonderful just to be able to enjoy it, those little bits of time that we get to. I'm just really still looking for that time when I'm not so stressed out and where I can truly, truly enjoy it. And I'm hoping that will still happen. This little hibiscus plant, tropical hibiscus plant, has been such a beauty this season. It's bloomed many times for me, and I love this color. I don't know if you remember me showing you these just a while ago when they were totally dead. And the cooler weather has just brought them back to life. They're looking so good. Which I still haven't done anything different to it as far as take them out. You can tell this one is still a dead one right there. I did trim some of the dead off of it yesterday, but I just couldn't believe how they came back to life. Or the live ones just overpowered the scraggly looking ones. And I don't know if you remember me telling you that I was going to take off some of the old hollyhock, but I did do that. I had one in this area here. I had one in this area here. And I did take them and pull them up by the root and throw them away so that that disease hopefully will be off of it next year too. Those won't come back, but perhaps I'll get some more. If not, then I will as soon as I feel like I can. And I wanted to show you this beautiful, beautiful zinnia, and I've got another one just coming on. This one may be ready for me to just go ahead and take it off. I think I will take that one off, so some of these others will come on. There's a couple of places that are trying to make a bud, and then here's this weed I need to get up from there. But anyway, I definitely want to save this beautiful zinnia. There's that pretty color I love again, that creamsicle soft orange. But I did get a lot done. I've got to stop feeling the pressure and stress of it and start enjoying the freedom that it's going to give me, because we actually got the windows cleaned. As far as I told you before, that gyp gets on our windows when I use the sprinkler, and so I have to get that off, and I've got it off. It's ready for me to enjoy the winter, be able to look outside and see the sunlight, or to see if it's snowing. Noticing that my little coleus that I put in this part right behind her wings did not make it, or else they just haven't done anything. But it still looks good, and I may end up putting some more there, but I know the season is ending for me to have the time to do all that kind of stuff. But I did a lot of it. I'll show you in the back where I rearranged some pots, and I think they look much better. This pretty little cigar plant has done well for me this year. It did get overly hot one time, and I thought I almost lost it, but it seems to have come back from that. I put a few more little coleus clippings in this pot, which haven't done much of anything yet, but they've just got to start, so we'll see. And this is a little clipping that I put in of a agara, which does not look like it's going to live either, but it's always worth a try. Those tops are just going to die after the frost anyway, so if you can get them in the ground before the frost and let them put on a root, they'll come back next spring and look great. My tomatoes turned their pretty yellow color. We actually had one yesterday. I also found this pretty little angel for this little pot of coleus clippings. I had something in this pot and it died out. So instead of having just an empty pot, I filled it with coleus clippings. And then I found this little angel to put in there. So as we come to the backyard, you'll see evidence of my husband working out here with me to help me. There's a wheelbarrow out there. And he's got stuff scattered where he's fixing up some jobs, but it'll be well worth it once they're done, and we can just enjoy. I actually clipped this little Alabama Sunset Coleus. I clipped a piece of it off, and I put it right over here, which we'll see. It may or may not have time to really do anything, but it looks better anyway. It's kind of like out of her face. It gives it more of a fuller look instead of a scraggly tall look. So I think it looks great. I'm glad I got that done. Put a few little coleus over in these pots, which I mostly just had stuff that didn't take, like the cactus that doesn't take a lot of water. I had that over here for the entire summer because this place is hard for me to water, and it's not good to try to keep something that just really needs a lot of attention. So I put those in there, but then when it gets cooler and you can do more stuff, I went ahead and put some little clippings back here too, like this beautiful little coleus clipping here that's just really going to add to this. I think I love this Alternanthera. And then when these, if they have time to grow up just a little bit more and stand up above it a little bit, it's going to really add to this little pot, I think. And the pretty orange berry bush or firethorn bush is got its pretty fall berries on it. I put sprigs of Alternanthera in this pot, which they have not made their root yet, so they're all wilted down, and they may not, but they may, and if they do, that's going to really be pretty. And I had already put two little coleus clippings in this, and I added a dark one in between it there, and it should kind of match the Alternanthera, which that still has potential to be beautiful. And even if the other parts are not, this pretty little alyssum is. And I added a few little clippings to this pot to fill it out better too. And you can tell that some of the ones that I added earlier are burned. That's Oklahoma weather for you, because we can definitely go from burning up to frost in a day, you know. But I hope that doesn't happen this year. It has happened the last 2 years, so it's possible. But I'm going to hope that this year we have a beautiful long fall. I feel like I need it, and I feel like it may be our turn. I cleared out a little bit of this marigold, which I love the marigold. I think they're beautiful, but I wanted you to be able to see the little swan and this pot a little better. It's pretty much been hidden all summer long. And I like for this little turtle to get to show off a little bit. I love this color of the sage. Isn't that a beautiful color? It's not really quite the blue like the Dusty Miller, but it's just like a felty mint green. So pretty. I started another little pot with a few of the coleus, and this one I like squirrels anyway, so this would just seem like a perfect little fall pot. And this, my coleus has not really got its root yet. You can tell because it's still wilty looking, but when it builds its root, I think it's going to pick up and just look great. And I cleared a little bit of my mum away from this pot so you could see it better. You couldn't hardly even see the bottom little tier of it. So I've truly been busy, and you can see right over there is what my husband is doing. And we're going to get this looking pretty good, and definitely where we can use it and enjoy it more. He already has it set up better to where the seating, now if you sit on it, you can actually reach the table, and you could sit there and have a conversation a lot better now. And I know it still needs some more work done on it, but I'm sure he'll have it looking great before it's over. And then tomorrow, let's see, what is tomorrow? Wednesday, no, the next day, his brother is coming and going to help him with some of those projects, and mostly with this tree. This is our pear tree. I hate to see it go. I'll miss it so much. As a matter of fact, I'll probably try to put another pear tree there if my husband will let me. But it was a joy, and I hate to see it go, but it's just been dying ever since it got topped. The time we had a really bad ice storm that topped most all the trees in our area, but we tried to save this one. We were told once that happens, they're just susceptible to disease, you need to go ahead and take them out. But we just kept trying, and it kept trying until this year, and it's finally giving it up, and we need to go ahead and get it out of here. So that's the plan. I may go ahead and take this little one off for seed too, or I may wait a little bit. It's just so pretty, it's hard to take them off. I like to come out and just look at them. Look at this pretty blue salvia. The white salvia too is pretty. The blue is my favorite. I also got to clean up my bird baths and this little pond or fountain. It used to be a fountain. And this is how my peonies, a lot of them, look this year. Most years I just leave them and they're just a pretty foliage like a little bush, but there's so much of this on it, and I know a lot of this is just from being burnt back here in the heat. But I'm going to go ahead and take these. I think some of it is like a fungus too. I'm going to go ahead and trim these back as soon as I get a chance to do that, and hope they'll come out more healthy next season. But this is a beautiful row in the spring. You will want to come back and see it, because when all these peonies are blooming, it is glorious. This is also what happens in the summertime to my clematis or clematis. It just looks terrible. I need to rustle this all off of here. And I haven't been cutting it off. I cut one off one time and it died. So I usually just leave them until the spring and then trim them down and let the fresh come up. As you can see, it's right down here trying. So I definitely don't want to kill it. I want it to live. This little hollyhock doesn't look like it's got that disease in it. I'm not sure. I can see right down here. This little one looks like it may. So I'm not sure if I'll leave that or not. The last time I talked to you, I told you that this little golden carrier bush might put some on in the fall, some pretty little bloom, and it certainly has. So pretty. I love these little, I guess I just love a ball or a globe flower anyway, and these are just so lovely. I actually planted one of the, I told you that it put up 2 little shoots, and I had 2 to give away, so I ended up planting one of them in the front. I thought, well, I need some of this beauty in the front too. And this beautiful black and blue salvia, and it right there beside it looks so good to me. I probably should have moved it over right here. And I had this pretty little, this is actually the Joseph's Coat rose, and it's not doing well here. It's not getting enough sun, so I don't know. I may need to just switch these 2 out, but I'm not sure if I will do that yet. But these are some of the other pots that I redid, as far as putting extra coleus right here, and it's not got its root yet. You can tell by how it's wilted down still, but it is beginning. I think it has put on a little bit of root, because you can tell this part of it, how it's standing up on its own now. I'll probably need to clip some of these old ones off so it will have a chance to just really look good. And this little one, I didn't go ahead, I think I did tell you that I did not go ahead and change this out this year. I just put some of these little coleus. This is strawberry drop coleus, and then some of these pretty little bright coleus to go in there with it. And they're making their root. You can tell they probably already do have some of their root made too, because they're standing up, standing at attention, looking good. They have a ways to go. Oh my, this one has come out. I don't know if a bird pulled that out or exactly what happened. And I don't know if it'll go back in there without dying, but we're going to give it a try right there and see. This still has potential to be beautiful if it has enough weather that's nice enough and doesn't go either way, extreme heat or cold. And then this little pot, oh my, it looks like there's a morning glory trying to grow up in there. I don't want that. But I love the pretty Calabrichoa. And I trimmed this Diamond Frost Euphorbia back a little bit. I tried some over in this side. We'll see if it will go ahead and root, and it may. I've had them do it before, so we will see. But she looks much better without that all in her face. And then on down the way here, I've got, I think I might have put a little coleus in the back of this one. I trimmed this one up quite a bit and put some of it toward the back, which I can see that at least one thing I put there in the back is not making it. I'll have to get that out of there. Oh, that actually turned out to be my little profusion zinnia that was in this pretty lemon yellow, which really looked good there, but it didn't make it for some reason. I'm not sure why. And I did trim around this one. That they were up over the little birdhouse there and covering most of it up, so I trimmed this one and this one down quite a bit. And this one, I still think I need to trim it down a little. I love this bright color here, but I think it just needs to be trimmed down where you can see the little angel in the middle. I think we could still make that look prettier. So glad this little zinnia is still going pretty strong. Love this color again. There's that pretty salmon pink. This is the red salvia and the white Gara behind it. These two look so good planted together. And this I did trim down, and it looks so much better. To a pretty little mound instead of just the tall one at the top. It just made it look scraggly. So this just made it look so much neater and prettier, I think. And so proud of this beautiful Calibrachoa. I wish all my Calibrachoa would do like that. So we're getting stuff done. Now we've just got to de-stress from all that getting stuff done and start enjoying a little bit. When we come back, the mums may be blooming. And they will really put the color in the garden, in the beautiful fall garden. The garden has certainly taught me to love fall. And as you can tell, some of the mums are beginning to show their color. They haven't become full and just really lighting up the garden with color like they probably will, but they are beginning to show their color, and then the others will probably follow suit, and then it will just be a wash and beautiful colorful mums. The last time we looked in this area, my weeping willow was hanging down over everything. So I did also trim that back. And I always say I wanted it to be a canopy, not a cover-up. So I like to keep it trimmed where you can see what's underneath it. But I do love the little hang-down look. It just looks so romantic. And I forgot to say that we can see now the color. I think these probably are both the same type of zinnia. This is a profusion, double profusion zinnia. And this is going to really add some color to this little pot. And as you can see, I did also add a little bit of the clippings of the Alternanthera in there with it. So if it has time, I think it's going to end up shining in the garden too. And this little pot is where I added the top of one of the Alabama Sunset Coleuses that had grown a little bit too leggy, and it looks wonderful here. And you can tell how much better it looks for the weeping willow to be trimmed away from this little container on this pole here. It looks good when it kind of hangs down over its sun, but when it gets down covering her face, I think that's just a little too much hanging down. So I like it better when it's just kind of giving her a pretty canopy. And I love how this bougainvillea has opened up more and just looking so good. That makes 2 times it's did a full bloom for me this season, and I love it. I'm also realizing, and I've known I need to get out here and take away some stuff out from under this tree so that my husband and his brother can cut this tree down. But I just realized that my little bluebirds will have to be moved somewhere, and I don't even really know where, but I'll need to do that for sure. And just a few of my little decor will definitely need to be moved and put away somewhere out of the way so they don't get damaged. And then I have this little woodpecker decor on the tree here, and this little bear. So I'll have to find different homes for them. And these little angels, their homes used to be under the picnic, or right in front of the picnic table. Look, you can tell this what color this mama's going to be. But their homes used to be under the picnic table, and then hardy geraniums were under them, which I actually hope to get them back in that position before too long, because they did look good there. I also did trim out a considerable amount of celosia, even though, as you can tell, I left some. Probably have more seed than I really want there now, but I do want some of it left, I know. Look at the pretty asters, aren't they pretty? And then the pretty sedum in bloom. I wonder what the birds are having a fit about. It's raining all around us, but it's not raining here. So maybe it's going to. It's overcast. I would love to get a wonderful rain. I just love rain. This little pot was totally empty the last time I showed it to you, and it's just got some little clippings that I clipped off of other things, and it looks great. If it gets a chance to grow even bigger and fuller, it's gonna look even better. More mums opening up. This little pot got a haircut, and I used those to put down below it here and some bare spots. And then I put a pretty bright one right here in front. So if they get a chance to fill out even more, they're going to look great too. this dahlia a while ago, but I didn't show you that I did tie it up to its stake, and that one right behind it there, which is drooping down. Looks like I need to get a taller stake for that one maybe. And this little dahlia. My dahlias are getting fewer and farther between, so I'll probably need to get some new ones before very long. And I think I may get a coneflower bloom this season. This beautiful Russian sage. It really shines in the fall. And if you've been enjoying the Garden Scrolls with me, please let me know. And please like and subscribe to the channel.